In 1959, 9 experienced hikers set out on a winter trek through Russia's Ural Mountains. But they never made it back. When rescuers finally found their camp, it looked like a horror movie. The tent was ripped open from the inside. Belongings, boots, and food were left untouched. And the hikers? They were scattered across the snow, some half-dressed, some brutally injured, and one missing her tongue. To this day, no one can agree on what actually happened. The group was led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student. Alongside him were 8 other young men and women from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. All were skilled mountaineers. Their goal was to reach Untouched Mountain, a difficult trek that would earn them top-level hiking certification. On January 27, 1959, they set out. For several days, things went smoothly. They took photos, kept diaries, and wrote letters home. But by February 1st, everything changed. Weeks later, when search parties finally located their tent, what they saw was chilling. The tent had been slashed open and from the inside. Boots, coats, and supplies were still neatly laid out, as if the group had been forced to flee suddenly. Footprints led away from the tent into the snow, but many were barefoot or only in socks. It didn't make sense. Why would experienced hikers abandon their shelter in sub-zero temperatures? The first bodies were found under a tree near a small campfire. They were dressed only in underwear, desperately trying to stay warm. Others were discovered deeper into the forest. These hikers had horrific injuries. One had a fractured skull. 2 had broken ribs so severe they compared to a car crash. And one woman was missing her tongue. Even stranger, some of their clothing tested positive for radiation. But despite the trauma, there were no defensive wounds, no signs of a struggle. As if something invisible had struck them. So, what could explain this mystery? Avalanche. Soviet authorities blamed an avalanche, forcing the hikers to cut open their tent and flee. But the slope was shallow and there were no signs of a large slide. Katabatic winds, sudden hurricane-force gusts that could drive people to panic. But winds don't explain the broken bones or missing tongue. Military testing. Some believe the group wandered into secret Soviet weapons experiments. The radiation on their clothes fuels this idea. Other theories, UFO encounters, Yeti attacks, even supernatural curses. None have been proven. In 2019, Russian investigators reopened the case. Their conclusion? A rare slab avalanche. A heavy sheet of snow broke loose, crushing some hikers and forcing the rest to scatter into the night. But that still leaves questions. Why was radiation detected? Why was a tongue missing? And why did experienced hikers react in such a chaotic way? More than 60 years later, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of history's creepiest mysteries. 9 young lives cut short, with answers as frozen as the mountain itself. So what do you think? Was it really just an avalanche or something darker? Subscribe to the Red Rabbit for more bizarre history.